My floor, good luck, keys in. No. Should have done this in rehearsal. You know what you're nodding at? If you know the fucking key. My flying saucer, where shall you be? Since that sad night that you sailed away from me. My flying saucer, I pray this night you will sail back before the day gets bright. My flying saucer, fly back home. You will get lost in the universe alone. My flying saucer, end all my fears. Sail back tonight, love and kiss away my tears. Night, you will sail back before the day gets bright. You will sail back before the day gets bright. I think we were being Buddy Holly in the crickets that day.
I'm going to open this up to the Q&A in a moment, but I wanted to cover something that we talked about that you wanted to talk about beforehand and maybe broaden it a little bit. But jail guitar doors, and also just the subject that you talked about last night at the concert, which was you were saying that you don't think that music actually can change the world. And I think some people were like, "What? Billy Bragg doesn't think this?" And but it was an interesting train of thought on that. But I want to throw those to you, and then we're going to throw it to these guys.
Changing the world is a very difficult process. It's not as easy as it appears in the Avengers movie. It takes a long time, takes a lot of organising. Changing the world is about going to your local Labour Party branch meetings and voting in favour of old people getting paid money to get them through the winter. That's changing the world. It's not singing gigs and coming together and doing fabulous concerts with a big picture of Che Guevara. I wish it was, but it's not. And I think it's irresponsible of me to stand up there and do what I do and try and suggest to people that I'm going to change the world when they know and I know that it's really all of our responsibility. Now, I am an individual. Once the gig is over, I'm moving on to another town, but you have to stay here and deal with the problems that you face in your town. And what I would much rather do, rather than bask there in some Bono-like sort of, adulation, I would rather charge you up with the urge to change the world and send you out there thinking, you know what, Braggy is right. I've got to fight my own cynicism. I've got to, remain engaged. I'm not asking you to become an activist, but I'm asking you to remain engaged and not give up on everybody else, because that's what our enemies rely on, us giving into our own cynicism. And it's tough, it's hard. But you know what? That's why they call it the struggle. That's how it works. So I think it's a much better pitch than, we're all in this together and, it's all going to be, I think I know that music does make a difference. I'm not saying that music is just entertainment. Far from it. I know, but from my own experience, how music gave me the courage to stand up for the ideas I believed in when I went to Rock Against Racism. In the 70s, I was working in an office with a load of guys who were racist, and I never said anything because I felt like I was in a minority. I just sat there and listened to their racist, homophobic, sexist language. Then one day I went to Rock Against Racism because the Clash were playing, and there were 100,000 kids just like me. And then, so when I went to work on Monday morning, I knew I wasn't in a minority. But the crucial aspect to that, you must understand, it wasn't the Clash that made me realise that and gave me the courage of my convictions. They got me there. That's important. It was being in that audience with those 100,000 other kids, singing the same things, cheering the same things together, was what made me realise that our generation were going to define themselves in opposition to all kinds of discrimination.
Jail Guitar Doors.
Jail Guitar Doors runs on from that by showing how music can make a difference. Basically, what I do with Jail Guitar Doors is I find people who are using music as rehabilitation in prisons, and I supply them with guitars to do the work there. And the reason I do that is because I know that playing probably any instrument, but certainly playing guitar, allows you momentarily to transcend your surroundings. You know, when I sort of sat in my parents' upstairs front bedroom in Barking when I was 16 years old, playing Bob Dylan songs, I wasn't in an upstairs front bedroom, I was at the Isle of Wight singing those Bob Dylan songs. And when you know that, and when you see how that could help someone who's in a prison situation, you know, is there, and I'm totally in favour of people being punished for their crimes, 100%, but by the same token I believe that the punishment for their crimes is to be sent to prison. They're not sent to prison to be punished, their punishment is to be sent to prison. Once they're in prison, we have the opportunity to help them to turn their lives around, and music, I believe, can play a part in that. So, you know, and it's something that keeps me believing that music can make a difference. Not change the world, but it can make a difference to people's lives in certain environments, and prison is one of those environments. So it's something that I'm sort of working my way around, one prison at a time, when I'm not in Chicago. And it's happening here in the US as well, where Wayne Kramer from the MC5, who's also done a lot of work in prisons, he's running it out in California.
Yeah, and in Chicago as well, Ricardo Muti and Yo-Yo Ma have visited prisons, and there's this whole citizen musician movement here of trying to, which the Old Town School I think is part of, trying to get people out and making music central to their lives. So it's kind of like the times are tough, and there's a sense of that. We're
lucky, those of us who can be moved by music, we're very fortunate that we can change our moods without messing with our bodies. You know, it's a great way to be, you know, to be able to hear a song that makes you break down and cry. I think that's a positive thing. And music, the idea as music as therapy shouldn't really be overlooked. You know, I'm not really a political songwriter, you know that, don't you? I don't write political songs at all. I write songs about things that piss me off. It might be emotion, you know, it might be my relationships, it might be what the government done, it might be the weather, it might be me, it might be you. I write these songs, I come out here in the dark, I sing them my anger, you all clap, and I don't feel so bad about it after all. So, you know, and you don't need an audience to do that. If you write a song, you're just getting it down on paper, just sing it to your cat, will have that same emotion that you're getting it out. I think these are, you know, they should give people, I mean, I know you do here, but they should give people these on the National Health Service. Here's 3 chords, go and form a band. You know, the trouble is people will get hold of ukuleles and they can do anything with it.
Does anyone here have any questions?